Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet, and you are seeing this correct. I am shirtless, and I have a really good excuse, and actually, as ridiculous as it is that I'm shirtless right now, is this is probably one of the most important stories I think we've ever had on Anarchast, and the only way I could get it, I was talking to past Anarchast guest Suzzanne Tarkowski Templehof of Bitnation, and she's been up very late. She's in northern Italy right now, inside of a refugee camp area, and we were just chatting, and she was telling me this amazing story of what she's doing, and I said, I have to have you on Anarchast right now. And she said only because I didn't have my shirt on at the time, and she had me on webcam, just because I don't really wear a shirt when I'm working because it's hot. I'm in Acapulco. She said, I'll only do it if you do it shirtless. And this story is actually so important and so interesting that I agreed to it. So I can't believe that. So, explain yourself, Susanne.
Should I explain what? Like why you are shirtless?
Yeah, explain how you managed to get me on Anarchast. No, I'm just joking. Why don't you let people know? And the other thing that Susanne was telling me was that she didn't want to do it either because she said she hasn't really showered or put on makeup for a couple of days because she's in this terrible crisis situation. And she said, I'll do it, because she didn't want to go on either because she feels like she's not looking very good. And she said, if you do it shirtless, I'll do it without makeup. And here we are. We're both here. And the reason is an incredibly important story. So, Susanne, please let people know where you are and what you're doing and what's going on. People won't believe this.
Okay, so I'm not actually in a refugee camp. Let me just say that. I mean, I am living with refugees, but we're not in a refugee camp. We have an apartment. But it has been pretty crazy. I mean, the last 5 days has been pretty insane. So I don't know where to start. Okay, so I used to work in war zones, right? So, and through that, I got to know a lot of people in those areas, obviously, and now they're all coming to Europe. And obviously, when they come to Europe, they call me for help, which they should, rightly so. And I mean, and we are, the cause of it too. So, so I don't know. So I am here and I'm living in like an apartment with like refugees from Congo and from Afghanistan. And the guys from Afghanistan are my former employees, and yeah, it's just been pretty crazy. And at the same time, we're trying to set up like this, refugee emergency response, which I'm obviously, well located to do. And on top of that, I mean, the situation here is just like completely out of control. Like, they are like putting refugees in cages. They are like putting numbers on their arms. I mean, it's totally fucking Second World War style. I won't say that it's Second World War, We're not talking about like Nazi style exodus, right? But there are a lot of things that reminds of that, which are very unpleasant. So, I mean, the situation is quite frightening.
Yeah, so for people, in case you didn't understand all that exactly, Susanne used to work as sort of like, I guess, a military contractor, and she used to work in war zones, and she's now an anarchist, and she looks back at working for the system, and I think she feels really bad about it, and a lot of the people that she's there with are the kind of people, I don't know if the exact people, are they actually people you know, or are they just people you don't know? Were these people you knew in Afghanistan or in other places?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I don't feel really bad about it because I was really good at it, So I felt like I did a good job. But yeah, it was not honorable course. It was not, I mean, I feel bad about the course, but I still feel good about my work. But, yeah, okay, that's besides the point. Please cut that out. Anyway, that was
Hey, it's like 1 a.m. my time here. You've been up all night. I'm not cutting anything out. This is kind of ridiculous that we're doing it, but this is so important that that we have to get this information out there. And
well,
what's his? Yeah, go ahead.
the guy I'm here with was my bodyguard, you know. And I mean, for him, like I love for him. There is no person I love more on earth than for him. Seriously, like he stepped into my office. He was 16 years old when I lived in Kabul, in Afghanistan, and he just had this like crazy eyes going for him, you know, and he was like stroking his AK, and I could just see that he was like the most batshit insane person I would ever encounter in my entire life, and I just instantly loved him. You know, we became instantly best friends, and we have been ever since. Like, you know, we would protect each other for whatever. Like our loyalty there's nothing that can question it.
So, is he there now?
Well, he's out to work now. He works like in a restaurant.
Sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Is he like in this refugee camp thing? Is that why you're there, or why are you there?
It's not a refugee camp; it's an apartment. But no, I mean he's been here for a bit, you know. So he's out working. He's working in a restaurant to pay his bills type thing. So yeah, but yes, we're living together in the same room actually.
So is he in this sort of situation that he's like a refugee and he can't get out? Is that what's going on?
Okay, so there are two stages for a refugee in Europe. Like, there are two stages, right? So when you come, you normally don't have documents on you, and if you do, you get rid of them pretty quickly because that's not to your benefit. And basically, the first stage is nothing. You're not a stateless person, you're nothing. According to national law, you're nothing, you don't exist, right? The second stage is to get asylum, and then you become a stateless person. But that is the second stage, and that often takes many years. So he has actually achieved asylum status now. He is now officially in asylum, political asylum, and he is stateless, according to the law. So, which basically means he can't be sent back to Afghanistan. So he's already like a step ahead of most of the people over here who are just still waiting to be declared stateless.
Okay, I understand now. Yeah, and you were telling me that you've been in these sort of camps and stuff, and you've seen just horrific conditions.
Mm. I mean, what's going on here, it's insane, you know, like not here in Italy. In Italy, it's okay, but like in Hungary, they're putting people in cages, they're writing numbers on people's arms. I mean, it's literally fucking horrific, and we're talking about millions of people.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of those people are there because of the wars caused by the U.S. and NATO, and so this is all caused by the U.S. and Europe. And now these people are just trying to get out. They're, you know, in very dire, desperate situations. So they go somehow get into Europe, and then they get stuck in these camps. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something about that. I mean, it's really interesting when you look into the whole refugee crisis type thing, because I've been looking into it now a lot. And, you know, so for example, if you come from Afghanistan, so there are different tribes, ethnicities in Afghanistan, and the Hazara ethnicity is the one normally targeted by the Taliban, right? And Taliban are normally associated with the Pashto ethnicity. So if you're from the Hazara ethnicity, which is, you know, you can tell easily, you know, through their facial traits and stuff, they are the sort of Mongolian descendants, you get nearly instant asylum. And if you're a Pashto, you never get asylum, never ever. But they were actually the one working for us. They were the ones on the front lines that risked their lives, right? And so they have to lie about their ethnicity to get asylum.
Interesting.
I mean, The whole system is so weird. It's so bizarre. Like, you wouldn't believe it. And I mean, it has nothing to do with logic. This is like something they came up with. Some PhD from Harvard came up with this and like said, "Oh, well, the Hazaras are more targeted," and they put it in a protocol somewhere, and then they're like blindly applying it, which makes no sense whatsoever fucking ever.
Yeah, the entire situation sounds terrible. And as I pointed out, it's all caused by governments. Governments causing all these wars, causing problems around the world. Then these people try to escape. They go to a place like Europe because they think that's going to be better. And then they get put in these camps, which, as you just described, feels like a lot like a World War II camp with people getting numbers on their arms. These are probably families and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many people who I'm in touch with, who like also former employees are like scattered around Europe. Like they have like the parents in camps in Romania, they have the children in Sweden, they are stuck somewhere in Paris. I mean, it's a horror. Like, and we're talking about young children, like 2-3 years old. I mean, you can't start to imagine the situation. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah, I actually have firsthand experience with people from Syria, Libya, actually people with a fair amount of money, luckily for them. But even they can't really, well, a lot of them can't go back to Syria right now, and they only have a Syrian passport. And these are like people with a lot of money. And so I've been trying to help them in trying to get a second passport. And I've been under attack by a bunch of losers lately saying I'm doing it the wrong way. But I'm trying to save a lot of these people in my own way, that way. And I've got a bunch of just horrible people trying to cause problems and make it so they can't do that. And then you, and we're both anarchists, so I'm an anarchist working over here trying to help some of these people in Libya and Syria and all that. You're an anarchist, you were probably, I think, up in Sweden, and you decided you just had to go to northern Italy to see your friend and to see if you can help with the situation. And so it's sort of funny here, the governments cause all these problems, cause wars, cause millions of deaths, make these poor people have to just run away. Then they put them in these camps, and the only people it looks like who are really trying to help them are anarchists. And what you're doing is really interesting, and we should mention this, is you have a company called Bitnation, and if you want to talk a bit about that, but you're also doing you're offering a Bitcoin Visa card. What's that?
DAO. It's not a company, it's a DAO.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got to use all these new terms. Yeah, you have distributed, what do you call it? Distributed what?
Decentralized autonomous organization.
Right, and that's what Bitcoin's all about, and Bitnation, and I'll let you explain a bit about Bitnation and what you're trying to do, but one really great thing that you're doing is you're offering, and these Bitcoin cards are awesome, by the way. I'm going to be talking a lot about this in the future. I just got my first one. I'll show it. It's called an eCoin. I'm going to be really talking a lot about this. You can get a Bitcoin Visa card. It works on the internet. It works in bank machines, and it's all Bitcoin. Really awesome. And you're offering for people who spend a little bit of money, it's like 12 euros or 24 euros. Some or all of that money, I don't know, goes to help these people. Is that right?
Well, to buy a refugee Visa card, it's 12 euros. If you want to buy one for yourself as well, then you should pay 24 euros. So then you buy one for yourself and one for stateless, unbanked refugee. So yeah, we may up the price actually because, I mean, God, we're running into so much legal issues. It's like a nightmare. But, because they are like, okay, so this is like another crazy part of this. Like, they're like, oh, well, ISIS is coming into Europe through refugees, right? And they are like doing terrorist funding. And it's sort of like, yeah, they will do terrorist funding if we don't help them. They will be all terrorists if we don't do something to make the situation better. Like, we are creating the situation right now. There is a reason, and
So what you're doing is if I understand, if people buy a Bitcoin card for these refugees, you will give it to them so they have some way to get access. What's the plan exactly?
Well, basically, they can't open a bank account, right? Because you don't have any ID documents. If you're going to open a bank account, you need to have an ID. Often you need to prove your address in some ways, like electricity bill or something. And they don't have that, because they don't have an address and they don't have an ID. That is the very definition of being stateless. So, but with Bitcoin, as you know, you don't need that. I mean, you can go online and you can start a wallet instantly and you don't need anything. You can just set it up within 5 seconds and you don't need to provide any information. And with the Bitcoin Visa card, it's sort of the same, right? It's like you need to provide some information, but it's not very detailed, and you can sort of interpret that information, in different ways. And so, yeah, I mean, all those people who are like carrying cash around, and like they can't buy basic supplies, they can't pay bills online, they can't send the money to their loved ones or receive money from their loved ones. They now get a solution for that. And with the Bitcoin Visa card, debit card, they can suddenly take out money from ATMs, they can pay in restaurants and shops. It's a huge thing, really. I mean, it sounds trivial, really, but I know, because I've been living on Bitcoin for a long time now. I know it's not trivial. Because, Visa cards goes a long way, really.
Yeah, very interesting. And that's going to be happening all over the place. They're making it so hard to even get a bank account and all that kind of stuff. They're really trying to shut down the system and cause massive worldwide chaos. And they are going to do it, in my opinion. They're already in process. I think this thing in Europe is just sort of the beginning of trying to just cause chaos everywhere, put people in camps everywhere, don't let them have any access to anything that can help them. And so, as I pointed out earlier, us two anarchists are... What's that?
It's an implosion.
It's what?
Implosion.
I can't make out what you're saying. Your internet connection isn't great.
Implosion.
Oh, implosion, yes. And here we have anarchists. We're the only people, well, not the only people, but trying to help. And one of the main ways we're trying to help them is through the anarchist currency, Bitcoin. So this is quite amazing that, especially Bitcoin, it's just the potential for this is so massive. That's why I've been talking about it for years. And it can get people outside of the centrally bankster system, which they can control you through, and they will be trying to control you more and more. So better wake up if you haven't woken up. And if you haven't seen my Dollar Vigilante video, Shemitah Exposed, I'll put a link to that down below. But I'm talking about, we're looking at this fall and no later than early next year, chaos like you've probably never seen it, and it's going to get worse from there. They've got a big plan, these one world government financial elite people. They love it. They love putting people in camps. They love it when they have a horrible life.
Jeff, exactly. I mean, this is one of the things I want to talk about. One world government.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think 9/11 was an inside job. I am not an anti-vaxxer. None of that, okay? I am truly not into that. I am not a conspiracy theorist by any means. But I truly do believe the one world government is a real thing when it comes to the UN, yes. And that, if I would say, like, our one goal in Bitnation is to combat that. It's to say, yes, borders are disappearing, the nation state will disappear, but the solution should not be a one world government. It should be an open source protocol that everybody can copy and make their own.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, can you turn down your speakers a little bit? Your volume? I can really hear myself. or even if you can, just mute me when I'm talking. You were talking earlier as well that you're very, very disappointed in a lot of your anarchist friends in Sweden because they are, you were pointing out to me, very anarchist, but they're actually for not allowing these refugees to have any ability to have anything really.
Yeah, I think that's quite worrying. So they say like they're against taxes, naturally, as I am as well, and they are using that as an excuse to sort of be, closed borders, and I just think that's very philosophically confused. I mean, I can understand the argument. Yes, it's a valid argument, but.
And the argument, just so people know, is that these anarchists who live in Sweden, they don't want to allow any of these refugees in because it will increase their taxes. And to that I respond, well, then stop paying taxes, you pathetic anarchists.
Yeah, right. and also I think like if we take this on a broader philosophical level, I don't think it's more right to judge people on why they're randomly born with whatever paper they were randomly born with than it is to judge people on their color of their skin or their sexual preferences or anything like that. It's all the same thing, right? People are people, regardless of all of those things. So I don't think, as an anarchist, there's no way on earth we can justify being for borders because that's just keeping up the monopoly on violence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking about something when you said that, and I think I just lost my train of thought. I was looking at myself in the camera here, shirtless, and thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, good looking. I know. I'm looking at you all the time. You're hot.
Well, thank you very much. I forgot what I was going to say. It was kind of important, so I'm going to try to get it back while I'm just jabbering here.
Okay, so let me tell you some more about my work in Afghanistan, okay?
Okay.
So this is really crazy. Like the friends I'm here with now, my former employees, like we did really frontline stuff. And at the time, I was like a 24-year-old graphic designer from Sweden, which is absurd, right?
Yeah, you told us on the first Anarchast we did with you, you told the story, and we'll put the link to that down below. And that time we were both, it seems to have happened again, we were both drinking and it was late at night and we decided just to do it. And you were describing...
That's how we connect.
some weird thing. That's how we connect. And I'm not drinking too much, by the way. I was just having a beer here. But you were talking about, you were living in Sweden, and you decided just to go to like Afghanistan. And after that, you just decided you're going to go to Libya. And tell us why you did that and what happened.
Well, okay. So now let me cut this short. Let me just tell you why I think this whole situation right now is absurd. Like, you're really gonna like this, honey. Seriously, like they used me, and I was a smart kid, obviously, but I was in no way competent to do what I did. And we collected information on people. For communication purposes, not for targeting purposes, right? But who knows what it's used to, right? Once information goes into the system, who knows what it's used for? And the field reports we got back was not good. Like it was saying, well, I just reported this and my uncle got like it drowned. It was not good feedback.
Yeah, that's terrible customer service feedback. Trying to make light of a really horrible thing.
Yeah, seriously.
So how did that work out for you? You know, we were here working for you guys, collecting some information. My uncle got droned because of you, by the drone bomber. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
And I was like, if this is what we're doing, like you don't get anything. Like we are not paid to do this. We are not prepared to do this. We don't have the training for it. We don't have the backup information to do it. We don't have the quality controls to do it. We don't have anything in place to do it. Like you can't, whatever data we collect, you can't not use this data to do this. You just can't.
Yeah, that should be a little that should be a little eye opener to Americans who are having information collected on them nonstop, and actually it's all around the world now. And you don't know where that information is going, and it's turning into a police state. This is looking a lot like World War II all over again, which will be World War III this time.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not aware of what's going on. They better wake up. This is going to get bad. I know this. I've got information. I've seen it. I've been tracking this for a long time. I see how this is going. These are evil people doing evil things, and your tax dollars are going towards it. And one of the interesting things that I find is, yeah, go ahead.
I don't even think these people are evil. Like I know everybody who works in the military and so forth.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying all the people doing it are evil. I'm saying the people at the top that are very evil, and they're doing these things.
Yes, yeah, I agree. But I don't even think like anyone is like evil by design. You know, I think they are evil by default rather than by design. You know, it's like they just don't know how to think otherwise. Just like I was.
Yeah, and I could tell when you were telling the story about Afghanistan there, it was really hard for you to talk about. And I have so many friends that have been in like the U.S. military, and they've done terrible things to other people. And they weren't anarchists when they were in it. And once they figured out what was going on and how government is and central banks are the source of all evil on this planet, it actually goes higher than that, but I won't even get into that. But a lot of military people are just saying no, and they're stopping now. And I know I work with a person, and he works his butt off trying to, I was talking about the passport business, that we're trying to help out a lot of people to have documents so that they can move. They have families and all this stuff, and they're stuck in a country that's full of war. And the guy who I work with is... He admits, and he actually is kind of suicidal all the time because he was pretty much torturing people when he was in the military in Iraq. Once he realized what happened, he was a mess. He still got, like many of them, PTSD. Then he found out about anarchism, libertarianism, and the light went off, and he said, oh my God, I've been so misled this whole time. And now he spends like every minute of every day trying to help these people in these countries.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big problem. Like, I've gone through it. I know a lot of my friends gone through it. I mean, it's really hard. Like, I was doing very well. When I was on the top of my game, I was like, you know, living in Washington, D.C., playing at a very high level, making a lot of money. And I was doing cocaine every single day, you know, and I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I was like, I just hated myself so much. I just couldn't live with what I was doing, you know. I knew it was wrong. I knew it from the bottom of my heart. I never got into it because of that reason, you know. I got into it because I thought it could change the world. And when I saw what I was doing, it was just like, it was bad. It was not good.
Yeah, and I've been, like I said, we've been trying to help these people, and I've been had some enemies just trying to shut me down at every. They're very statist. I'm even going to name names here: Mark Nessman, Bobby Casey, Ken Johnson. They've been attacking me like crazy for trying to get people the ability to move because they have no ability to do that, and they're stuck in terrible situations. These people are evil. They're probably CIA plants, at least one of them. So. Yeah.
Okay, so if we're going to throw names out there, let me throw names out there for myself. So when I started Bitnation, I got attacked, like a bad troll attack, by three persons in particular.
By who?
Three persons.
Okay.
Three.
Okay.
First and foremost, Nathan Vosnek. Second, David Monroe's. Third, Matt McKibben. And they've been attacking me on media and social media ever since. And when I started Bitnation, I published a document saying we're going to be a DO, a distributed organization. We're not going to incorporate it because we want to be resilient to nation-state governments. We don't want any central entity to be able to shut us down, right? That was the whole philosophy of Bitnation. And then they attacked me for not incorporating. And that attack went on for 6 months in very nasty ways.
Yeah,
and I just want to put this out there, okay, forget about Matt McKibben. He is probably just sort of brainwashed. But seriously, anyone who ever consider hiring or trusting Nathan Vosnek or David Mundras, just take a step back and think.
Yeah. We've gone through similar sort of things, and it's really hard, isn't it? Being attacked unrightfully, and just constant attacks. I don't know what's wrong with these people. Like, if I don't like somebody, I'll just say, I just don't like that person, and never talk about them again. I'm not going to be on social media like Ken Johnson, the guy who ripped off 70 people over $10 million in Chile. He's just on there every day sending people things that I'm a fraud and I'm a criminal and I'm a liar. These people actually don't know who they're messing with. I have, I'm not going to say too much here, but they have no idea what I am doing and the kind of things that are backing me, and they cannot stop me, and they're not going to stop me. And I'll never stop until we have freedom on this planet and peace. And
I feel the same. I'm like, who the fuck do they think they're messing with? I spent 5 years in war zones. Really? Do they think they're gonna shut me down for a fucking off-talk post? Really?
Yeah.
Good fucking luck, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. They have no idea. And actually, by the time this video goes live, a few of them might already be having major problems. And I'm not, these aren't threats, but they're messing with the wrong people here. This is a battle. This is an actual war. This is a war for the future of this planet.
Right, exactly. It is a war. I mean, that's how I see it, you know? And I see myself as the front line every day, you know? It is not a very bloody front line. It is not. But it is, a front line, a social media front line. Even though I'm not very active on social media, but it's, we're building programs that will completely make the state totally irrelevant.
Awesome.
So, it is a war, but we're not at a war with the governments. We are we're just saying
Well, the war is actually on us, and all we're doing is trying to find peaceful ways to fix it. That's what us anarchists are.
Yeah, we're just peaceful people. Exactly.
And of course, statists, that's all they know is violence. It's crazy. It's almost like a good versus evil sort of thing. And they're really winning in many ways, but they're not going to totally win, not that easily anyway, if I have anything to do with it. And I know people like you and, of course, many, many other amazing people all working, people working on Bitcoin stuff right now to make it even better and withstand more attacks on it.
Well, let me tell you more about the war zone business, now that I'm on the subject. I don't talk about this very often because, it's sort of a trauma. So, but it seems some pretty hard stuff, So let me tell you about one of my most traumatizing experiences. So when I went into Libya, it was the rebels, it was the Arab Spring. It was like kids wanting democracy, whatever. I hate democracy for the record, but, whatever. It was a genuine sort of movement, And then I saw fucking Qatari planes flying in with weapons, I mean, I don't know what to start to say about that. That was horrible. That was pretty hard. That was one of the most horrible moments in my life. I mean, seeing that first Qatari plane land and unloading weapons, I can't start to describe what I felt.
Yeah, I say to my friend who was also in the military, who I work a lot with, he talks a lot about all this stuff all the time and how can't live with himself for what he did. And I'll say the same thing to you that I say to him. It's that you did not know what you were doing at the time. There's even something, I think, in the Bible about that. Forgive them, they know not what they're doing.
I knew exactly what I was doing. I was very sure with it the whole time. I just didn't think it was that bad. I thought initially it was very good, and then I came to think it was not that bad.
Well, you have to understand you were pretty much brainwashed because, you get all of your life, all this, the media, the government, constantly telling you that, we're the good guys. We're fighting for freedom. The U.S. is just bombing every place for freedom right now. So what I say to you and to many other people, and possibly even people watching this, if you were in the military, even worked for the government or did any of those sort of things, and you caused really immoral and bad things to happen to other people, including torture and death, if you wake up and you become an anarchist, you will be pretty much washed of your sins, in my opinion. And I hope you guys know that. And you need to just keep doing what you're doing right now.
Are you a Catholic priest or something? Seriously. Just read the NAP 5 times, and it will be fine.
Yeah. No, you're on the. Yeah, go ahead. No, you're on the good team now, so you'll be okay. But yeah, terrible stuff. And this is so ridiculous that you made me not wear a shirt for this, for such a serious conversation. But who knows? Maybe I've got a few female and even male fans, I think, who don't mind seeing this. Maybe this will get shared more than usual. Who knows? And I hope it does, actually, because this is a really important message.
What is the important message?
What's that?
What's the important message?
Yes. And we're going to keep getting it out there. And so I don't know if you have anything you want to finish off with, Susanne. Get back to your making tea on the floor there, and pretty crappy area that you're in there. But you're doing it to help people, and so I really admire it. And don't forget, just get one of those ecoin cards, and do the one where you give it to one of the refugees, and you get one for yourself. Because if you don't know, once you have this card, it's I was smiling when I was looking at it. I was like, it's happening. This we can use Bitcoin and ATM machines and on the internet to buy stuff with like a credit card, because a lot of places still don't take Bitcoin, but that'll hopefully change. So yeah, it's a wonderful time in that way. There's a lot of stuff going on that is good.
Especially if you're shirtless, then you get extra credit.
If you're what? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Shirtless. Without shirt.
Without shot?
Shirt. SHIRT.
Oh, shirtless. Sorry, sometimes I have a little bit of problem understanding your accent, and then you're on a crappy internet connection. So, yeah, I'm shirtless. This is ridiculous. But I said, as soon as I was talking to you, I was just sitting here, just like I am now, talking to you without my shirt on. And what you were saying, I was like, we have to get this out right now. And you said only if you stay shirtless, so I did. So anything else you want to finish up on?
Yeah, I mean, actually, at some point, I would really like to sort of come clean with my time in the military, because a lot of people are asking me about it. I don't want to, do a Snowden or Cash or anything, because the people I worked with were hardworking and they sacrificed their life to do what they did. I don't want to be a fucking asshole against the people I worked with. But at some point, it would be sort of nice to talk about it in public without giving up any names or any individual or any particular institute. But just sort of some of the failures and the recent wars that I witnessed. Yeah, and I think there are a lot, and I am quite well plugged into them, and it is like sort of wearing me down a little bit, And
I understand.
yeah, I mean, I would appreciate actually talk about it, but not in a sort of way that would put any country or any government or any person in danger, just from an abstract perspective.
It's very kind of you not to. I wouldn't mind if you put some countries in dangers, but I guess I should. I guess I don't agree with that, because in those countries are people, and they'll get hurt in the process as well. So all this crap caused by government and central banks and God.
I mean, I resent the system at large. I hate the system. I really do. I hate the nation state system. I would do anything to destroy it, but I'm still not gonna put out details of persons or organizations out there.
Oh, it's very, yeah.
That's just my own. Even if I would work for McDonald's, I would have the same thing, right? Like I just wouldn't do that, because I have a loyalty thing. I'm a pashti, I just wouldn't do that. But at some point, people need to understand the structural problems with it.
Yeah. Well, we understand it. Other people just need to understand it, and that's why it's important to get this information out there.
Yes.
And I think it is happening. I am seeing it all the time. People are waking up. So there's going to be, hopefully we can make some real change here in the next few years and save. There's so many people suffering right now all around the world, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to come to you eventually. If you just keep ignoring this evil, centrally planned government and central banks and just think, well, I still have flat screen TV and I can still drink a beer, so I'm just going, you're what do they call it? You're guilty just by giving your consent to the, yeah.
But people don't actually understand what's going on. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's getting late here. I'm shirtless. You've been up all night, I think, and had a few drinks as well. I'm just trying to get through, which is totally understandable, and big reason why I have a few drinks quite a bit too. Not as often as I used to, but it's we're on the front lines of a war here, and a lot of people don't even realize it. So,
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on. I knew this was going to be important, and it was a great episode. It's at the same time the most ridiculous episode and possibly the most important episode that we've had yet. So I want to thank Susanne, and let's get you on sometime later when you're back outside of a place like you are, when you got some Bitnation. Let's get more into Bitnation. We didn't even bring that up, and I'm sorry, but I got to get some sleep here soon. But let's get you back on fairly soon and talk about Bitnation, because that's also incredibly interesting. And the first time we had you on Anarchast, you hadn't even started Bitnation yet, and this is the second time. And you have, but we really had to talk about this refugee and situation, very important. So we'll talk about it the next time.
Okay, honey, I love you.
Thank you very much. And so yeah, if you like this, like, subscribe, share my shirtless Anarchast video. I promise you this is going to be the last one for anyone who didn't like it. But it was the only way she would do it, so I had to do it. So this is Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
When you consider that you have to spend all your time basically unteaching what your kids just learned.
So not only must the government recognize natural rights, but the government can't disparage them. Unfortunately, the people in the government have a hole in their copy where the Second Amendment is, the Ninth Amendment, and the 10th Amendment.
So, this is not so saintly. I mean, because he's got the reputation of favoring, ending slavery. But he wasn't an opponent of slavery. The abolitionists were opponent of slavery, but not Abe Lincoln.
I mean, the actual argument and the explanation is pretty darn simple. I mean, it's so simple as to almost be self-evident. I mean, things like self-ownership and the non-aggression principle, it takes about 3 seconds to demonstrate that government can't be legitimate.
Well, I think human beings have the right to shape their own reality. And that's what's been taken away from us. We are participating involuntarily in a system that shapes our reality for us. And the first step is to not allow that.
You're paying off your debt, you have to pay off your car loans, your mortgage, you have to maybe even live with your parents, and then you look back at your life and you did nothing. You never challenged yourself, you never experienced anything, you never lived your life because you kept doing what the machine told you to do.
From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.